What's going on, Bringers? Welcome to your 9th Java tutorial, again with me, Travis, of my Bringback. What we're going to learn about today is subclasses, superclasses, and extending. And that's what you're going to learn, so you better like it. What we're going to do is basically, there's some attributes of a dog that are the same as a cat, right? There's attributes of a dog that are the same as a fish or an elephant. Because they're all animals, right? So they kind of have some common traits. But what we do is we can, either create those methods within here, and we're like, is it an animal? And then we just can return a Boolean value like true or false, or does it live on Earth? Yeah, it lives on Earth. It's an animal. So there's common attributes, but let's say you're creating, this like pet shop or something with a dog, a cat, elephant, zebra, all the common things in a pet shop, and you don't want to define this kind of method for each one of these classes, for each dog, for each cat, for each everything else, because there's also something called an animal. All those things have in common. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go to new class. Sorry if I'm not making much sense, but we're going to create an animal class right here, and open that bad boy up. And within here we're going to create some methods. So we're going to say is it on Earth? Pretty lame method, but I can't really think of something beneficial right now for this application because we aren't really going to work with this within our gaming development. But what we can do is we can just do a system printout, because we're kind of familiar with that by now, or system out print, whatever you guys want to say. And we're just going to say yes, this thing lives on Earth. Right, so that's a common trait for all animals. So we could have defined this method within the dog class, but then if we have an elephant and we're like, hey, does this elephant live on Earth? And then we'd have to set up this method within the elephant class and every other animal class, and they'd just get boring. We don't want to type more than we have to, so we're just going to create this class called animal, because again, all animals live on Earth, and so they have this common thing within it. So now what we can do is we can basically, the way this works is, generally you want to define the animal class before a dog class, but I was stupid and we did it this way, kind of reverse order. But, we have the animal, then we can have, a dog, and then we could have defined a breed class, and then we could have defined a gender, whatever, that's probably not the best way, but this is kind of how it works. Common attributes, more specific, and then more specific yet. So now what we want to do is we want to have this method within our dog class, and how we do that is by saying extends. So we're going to extend a class, and what class are we going to extend? It's going to be the animal class. And you guys want to make sure you save all your projects so it recognizes the animal class. And there we go. Now we can use that method, and you're like, what are you talking about? Don't know what you mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, go down to source, and then go to override implement methods, because Eclipse again makes it easy for you. You don't have to remember exactly how everything is typed out. And under this animal class here, because again we're extending this class so we can use the methods within it, we're going to put a checkbox right by here. Hit OK, and it adds it for us automatically. We have this method. So let's talk through what's going on right now, or actually let's just demonstrate this real quickly. So I'm just going to delete all these other print statements, and again we have the Jerome object. We're going to say dot, forgot to save, so we're going to say dot, and then we have is it on Earth. We're going to click that, save it, and render it or compile it, and it says yes, this thing lives on Earth. So pretty basic, but now let's go into it, look at what's actually going on, because we have this override thing, this super thing, and all that stuff. So let's quickly talk about the terminology and all that good stuff. So the way this works is we have a class, and for our example here it's dog, and this is called a subclass. and then whatever we extend is called the superclass. This is just the terminology. I'm just going to comment this out. So as you can see, the superclass is the more broad aspect of whatever we're creating, and then the subclass is, you know, even more specific. So what's happening now is we're calling this override method because since we're extending the animal class, we have access to the methods of the animal class, and all we're saying is we're going to override that method. Since it's the same name, we're just going to say override, and then we're just going to be like, hey, we could define this as something else if we wanted, like system.out.print. So we could even specify it a little bit more and comment out this line here, and basically have our own isItOnEarth method. Basically the override is just saying, hey, this is from the extended class or the superclass, and so we're going to override that, and then you know, we're going to create our own little, you know, system print out for when this method is called. So now if we save it and run it again, it's, yeah, I'm a dog and I live on Earth. But this is basically pointless because, you know, we wouldn't even have to extend this if we were gonna, you know, create our own little method here. The beauty of this, the beauty of extending, allows us to just say, hey, yeah, we're calling to the superclass, which is animal, and we're using the method isItOnEarth. So it's going to be like, okay, let's go to the superclass, bam, that's animal. So we're going to jump over there, and we have the method isItOnEarth. And we're going to be like, okay, yeah, system print out, yes, this thing lives on Earth or whatever. So basically, that's why you want to use extending. Saves you guys a little bit of, you know, typing and all that stuff, because we can refer to that broader class or the animal class to kind of get some of those common attributes, and we don't have to define it for each animal that we do create, like a dog, snake, a rabbit, whatever, because all those things live on Earth. So we can just type this method once, and there we go. Hopefully that made some sort of sense. If it didn't, don't worry, you guys will get more familiar with this when we put it into action. This is kind of a lame example, but thanks again for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next tutorial. So have a good one. Peace.